Still waiting, still rolling. Sure. It looks wrong. It's rolling. Oh.
Oh, that's good.
Live starting. Yep, we're good.
All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order at 7 o'clock. Mr. Secretary, would you do the roll call, please?
Mr. Marinaccio.
Here.
And Mr. Williams.
Here.
And Chairman Hills.
Here.
And let's see who else we have in order. Mr. Stebbins.
Here, sir.
And Mr. Thayer.
Present.
And Ms. Peck is absent. And Mr. Farrell is absent.
Very good, thank you, sir. Ralph will be an alternate that's voting tonight. The first order of business is number 19004. If Secretary would be so kind to read that into the record.
Stand by. Oh, thank you. Public hearing number 19, tax 004. Gingras Development LLC seeking a variance from section 214 tac 130C of the Summers Code concerning rear yard setback requirement of 80 feet to construct a four-season room 60 feet from the rear yard for unit number 59, also known as 12 Tanglewood Drive, and unit number 33, also known as 118 Nutmeg Drive in Summers Villa, located in the A1 residential zone.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Let it be known that the proof of abutters has been shown. Who will be representing? Okay, the floor is yours.
Tom Corenzo, Gingras Development. So we have got two
Welcome.
lots left here in Summers Village on the outside that we were hoping you might consider us being able to put an addition on the back. I have 3 lots left in the project, and really the reason these two haven't sold yet is because we can't put those additions on the back. We're not only looking for a 4-season room, it could be a deck, it could be a covered deck, it could be a screen porch. Basically, we want to go out. It would probably be about 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying to get your thoughts on that.
Okay. We read your application, but just for the record, if you could just state what your hardship is.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I just wanted to state what the hardship was for the record.
Well, the hardship, I guess you could say, is if we pull these buildings forward to accommodate these, and I'll let Steve maybe expand on that a little bit.
Well, I guess the hardship would be the grade of the driveways for at least unit for 118, unit 33 is just over 9% grade, which you know, keeping in elevation wise with the rest of them, if we drop it down, it's gonna, you know, obviously it's gonna look a little bit.
Could
Out of
the
character.
hardship be like a conforming lot has a 50-foot setback and yet these have 80? I would
Absolutely,
consider that a hardship.
absolutely.
Okay. Anything else?
What is your front yard setback on that as you plan it here?
33 would be 22 and a half feet to the garage. If we used the 80 foot.
If we pull it forward.
Right. And then we're looking at just over 26 on unit 59. Whereas in this case, the adjacent unit 57 is sitting at about 36 and a half feet. And this one, unit 60 is at 43.4 feet. So this one will look considerably awkward, sticking
I
out.
agree.
So,
Is that the one on Tanglewood?
It is.
yes, it is. Tangle would be forward.
Any questions?
When engineering this development, did you guys know about the 80 feet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And still you engineered it that way to,
We didn't have a choice. I
Okay.
mean, the buildings were pretty tight as it is. There's 80 homes in there. We knew we were gonna be tight. We've been here for 13 and a half years. Like I said, I'm down to 3. These 2, we just haven't had much success with for selling. I know that this 118 is right now deposited, but she wants a deck. We run into that situation multiple times on both lots.
would you consider a smaller deck?
It won't fit.
It won't.
No, we're right on the line, right on the line here.
Could you explain why you need a 20-foot variance for something that needs less than 20 feet to accomplish?
I don't really need the 20. I just figured I'd go for a little bit more at this point if we did need it. But no, in essence, we're really probably going to need more like 9 or 10.
And there's no reason you couldn't, since it obviously it isn't built already, arrange the construction of the units so that you'd have a recess space for the deck that would conform with that setback.
You mean modify the building to accommodate it?
Yeah, instead of having it stick out.
Yeah, I don't think we can really do that with the footprints that we have.
What are the square footage of these,
They range from 1650 to about 2500.
and the one you're envisioning here? Oh, the ones you're envisioning here?
These are probably about 1900.
Okay.
And again, these are your final 2?
There's
Two of
3
three.
left.
3 left, okay.
And these are the 2 that are jammed up as far as being 80 foot off.
Correct.
Same issue with both lots, yes.
Same issue.
Considering that the only requirements were that you had to keep a 80-foot perimeter off of, 80-foot offset off your perimeter and have 100 feet at the road, and you could pretty much do whatever you wanted. This is essentially a misthought in engineering it or designing it, or you kept 80.5 feet on one, and
They're both 80.5.
yeah, 80.5 on both, yeah. And so you knew that you were pushing it, and it's at 1,900 square foot now, and you're saying without a 12 by 16, you can't sell it? Has it been built, or is it just?
No, they're not built. No, they're open lots right now. No, they're the last 2 of 3 that we have. Like I said, we've been there 13 and a half years, and it's an issue to sell these too because people can't put the addition on the back.
And if you get a variance today, you could put up a 12 by 16 addition onto the house, not just a 4-season, but you could have just an extension of the back wall of the house, correct? As opposed to a deck. You talk about deck or 4-season or so.
No, it wouldn't be an extension of the house. We don't build anything that big. And we've never done that anywhere in the entire project, even where we could. So it wouldn't be that. No, we're looking for a deck, a sunroom, a screen porch.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions? This is the public part of the meeting, so if anybody has anything they'd like to address here, now is your time. Just state your name and your address, please.
My name is Maggie Grayson, and I got a letter from Tom describing the variance.
And your address, Maggie?
Pardon?
Your address.
8 Tanglewood.
Thank you.
So I got the letter regarding the variance he was asking for. And I can't see without these glasses.
That's
so I'm
fine.
sorry I'm wearing it.
That's okay.
And I just had a couple of questions about it. And I know that I got a letter, and I know that our neighbors next to us got a letter next to the open lot on Tanglewood, and I presume that the neighbors on the other lot in question also got the letter.
Yes,
But
they should.
to my way of thinking, with respect to our community as a whole, I thought the letters should have gone out to everyone in the community, because when we signed the contracts, they were all based on this setback and the ownership of community. The property is owned by the whole community. So it's not really a function of what I think or want. It's more a function of what the community would want to have happen. Now, personally, this is separate. I've known Tom now all these years that he's been on the project, and it's been wonderful. I mean, he's a wonderful contractor, and he's always been responsive to all of us. And I would love to see the lot sell, but I personally have a few concerns about it. And when people come to look at the lot, I take them back and show them the neighboring lots where they also have restrictions, and they can only have a patio. And I show them how fantastic it looks, because all of the other properties nearby it, many of them have a restriction and they can only have a patio. Which sort of, this is a tangential, but all begs the question, are they all gonna go out and ask for that variance so they can put a sunny porch on too? So, my question is really about, for me, for my home personally, has to do with the continuity of the community in terms of what the others have had to abide by in terms of restrictions, and a vision that Tom's former partner and he both had when they put up the Summers Village, is that we would be ringed by a wooded area. Originally, as they foresaw it, would have a hiking trail. But now we are ringed by that wooded area, and to the extent that, again, this is just without regard to everybody being apprised of it, how much would Tom have to cut into that wooded area in order to construct what he wants to?
So she's talking about 12 specifically. I don't know if
Yeah,
this
I don't
really
exactly
shows the
show.
tree line. I don't know if we can answer that question, Maggie.
Yeah, I don't think that would be, I don't show the existing right now. Let's see what the original was.
Because we have had some issues with the property owners behind that area. And some of our neighboring homes have had him cut down trees and taken away what was originally envisioned. And if some of these trees are cut down, I'm likely to see his work area. He has huge dumpsters and other, he's run some sort of wood chipping business, I'm not sure what it is.
It's this one. No, it's this
But,
one.
yeah, I
Yeah,
would
no.
really like to know how many trees need to come down.
Unless that's grown in.
And it may have. From the original site plan, it doesn't look like many, Maggie, but I can't promise that because we don't really know what's come in since.
Yeah, but you do know, Tom, that trailer's back there,
Oh, I'm fully aware of what's back there.
and you know that Gene and I have put in white pines along from
Yeah.
our back, not our property, but the community property in order to. So we wanna see it sold, we just don't wanna diminish from the beauty of the community.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Back to the question on that. So was there houses that were already built here that kind of incur the same hardship, and you had no problem selling them, or?
We did build houses that incurred the same house.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All that they approved for us to put in these locations is a paver patio.
Gotcha.
So that's what we've done in other locations where we've run into the same issue.
Okay.
Well, one concern I do have is, if this board were to grant you variances there, what, as, the neighbor remarked on here, everybody else claiming equal treatment could say, why can't we?
No, I understand that.
Was the Was the 80 feet put in for the benefit of the abutters or not? Was it to keep this unusual type of development
Well, this,
separate from?
this is specific to age restricted. I
Right,
actually,
right,
yeah.
and that's what I'm saying, there's no requirements other than 80 feet, 100 feet at the road, 20 acres, at least 10 biddable. And after that, it's much reduced as far as
Yes,
anything else. So,
and even the 100 feet only.
the 80 feet is for whose protection? Okay, the abutters, the property owners on the site, I don't know, but I think if this could be a camel's nose, you do too, then next thing you know, there's two more that want to take their patio and convert it into something else.
Well, this is the discussion we should probably save for
Yeah,
the
Dean,
motion.
I move to,
Yeah. Any further questions through the? All right, we're gonna close the public.
Any other public discussion, Dee?
Any other?
My only other comment is, because I want Tom to sell these lots, it's in the best interest of the community to sell all the lots, so that our condo fees will, be positively impacted. But if it were put to the community, I would like to have them have an understanding of what it means to everyone in the community if this exception is granted. It also would allow the community to make a decision as to whether or not there's anything we can do, financially even, to help Tom sell these lots. Are you with me? I mean, as a community, it would be, I don't know, think outside the box. It's possible for us to say, we would be willing to contribute something to lower the cost of the house that Tom wants to build or whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying, we would work with Tom in order to see that we could do this without having everybody in the whole community saying, okay, no, I want a deck, no, I want a four-season room, no, I just don't see that happening there, but.
Well, let's just really quickly see how many that would apply to here. We've got one here.
4.
One.
5, 6, 7.
So 7 potentials out of 80.
On top
Existing.
of the 2. On top of the 2, yeah.
Right.
So 9 total.
Right.
Okay. Anything else?
I think so.
All right, we're gonna go into the public hearing, discussion and decision.
Say something about that, Dean? I own the corner behind you guys, and I'd like to see it stay within the 80 foot.
who's this?
in the initial
Please go ahead and
proposal.
identify yourself.
Yeah, can you name and
Oh,
address?
Hall Hill Road.
I'm sorry, Jim?
Jim O'Donnell, Hall Hill Road.
Thanks.
I've ordered these folks on 1,553 feet, and I want to know if this is an actual hardship, or whether it can be kept like all the other ones and keep it within the parameters that the other ones were built. Initially, on the first sets of plans, these lots were omitted, and I can't remember the exact thing, I have it, it's in my phone, but it says that they reserve the right to apply later, and to basically get the whole complex built through, and then these were left out because they're not conforming lots. So if the definition of there's a hardship, there's something that's wrong with the land or something like that. I think it's a self-inflicted hardship that it just doesn't fit. And why there's either too many or stay within it, move it up front. But I just wonder if this is gonna set a precedent for all the other folks that want to expand and exceed the 60, go back to 60 feet. And then everybody else is doing it because there's already shifted 300 feet closer to me than it was originally proposed, and that was so that they could get the right of way in there from Joe Kaminsky's. I never said dual for all these years, but I'm not so sure moving closer is the right thing to do. So, I have a better when I read, but it just gets it just off the top of my head, but it doesn't mind submitting it and having it entered into the.
Absolutely. Feel free.
community. I don't know.
Hall Hill Road. He's the
Would you-
behind guy.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to read that into the record, Mr.
Sure.
Secretary, please?
Dated August 13, 2019, Town of Summers zoning board of appeals. Board members, my name is Jim O'Donnell, the owner of property on Hall Hill Road, which also abuts the Gingras development located on Shaker Road. I received a letter notifying me of a public hearing to be conducted on Tuesday, August 13, 2019 at the Summers Town Hall. The requested variance is for a reduction in the rear yard setback for the construction of a sun porch at 12 Tanglewood Drive and 118 Nutmeg Drive. Specifically, a variance is being sought from an 80-foot rear yard setback to a reduction of 60 feet. I do not believe the request represents a hardship on either the developer or owner of 12 Tanglewood Drive. There's only a preference to build a four-season room, which is a design option of the owner, which is not classified as a hardship, but a preference. Granting this variance sets a precedent for current property owners within the developments without a sun porch to have the ability to apply to the Zoning Board of Appeals for variance for yet another rear yard reduction. Therefore, I would appreciate this letter being read into the record as my objection to the granting of this variance. Cordially, Jim O'Donnell.
Thank you, sir. Any further public comment? Okay, we're going to close and go into our public hearing discussion decision. Can I have a motion to approve number 19-004, Gingras Development LLC, seeking a variance from section 214-130C of the Summers Code concerning rear yard setback requirement of 80 feet to construct a four-season room 60 feet from the rear yard for unit number 59, aka 12 Tanglewood Drive, and unit number 33, aka 118 Nutmeg Drive in Summers Village, located in the A1 residential zone.
Make the motion.
Second?
For purposes of discussion, I'll second.
Okay. Discussion. You guys are all set. You may feel free to.
You want to leave this here?
Want this?
No.
I'm
Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you. All right, floor is open. Go ahead, Andy.
Well, on one hand, you can't help but be influenced by comments from the residents that they're fabulous individuals and you know, they're nice to work with, etc. That's relieving. And also the community spirit that's obvious. But I'm still of the opinion, and I have to look at the people eye to eye so they can see I'm disagreeing with them very respectfully. It's like, that was kind of the deal when it was all developed, and people bought based on that deal. And I'd love to see us sell those properties, you know? But many people bought based on the deal. And the hardship to me is you know, I hadn't thought of the term self-inflicted, but it was part of the design, you know? So I'm very respectfully going to have to object, as much as my heart goes out to two great developers trying to help the town build more property, etc. So to me, I'd say it was known, and all these good folk bought based on this deal.
I'm sort of the same frame of mind, for the simple reason, as you remarked, you have different sized houses already in there, from 1,600 to 1,900 square feet. It strikes me that you could reduce the footprint of the house to something a little more modest, but still within the framework of what you got there, and still have enough room within those limits to put a deck or a similar improvement. That's why I was asking, for example, if you could build a dog leg like around to have like a wrap around or home wrapping around a deck on two sides. And I do think it would create a precedent for anybody else in that community. I will mark, sort of ironically and perhaps irrelevantly, that the draft zoning regulations that are being considered by the commission right now don't seem to contain that. I imagine that might not affect you because you're approved under the old ones, but it's something you might want to visit with the zoning commission.
Under restricted housing?
Yeah, I looked at the regs are available online on the zoning commission site, and I did not see anything like the chapter and verse that seemed for setbacks.
Okay.
I may have read it cursorily, but you know, but I'm not inclined to vote in favor of the combination of the precedent and the combination, it strikes me that there are design modifications you could make to live within that setback.
I'm an alternate, and I'm not voting this evening, but if I did have a vote, I would be voting against it for much the same reasons as Mr. Rocket and Mr. Williams have said.
Just to play the devil's advocate, well, first of all, I remember a previous meeting with Carl Landolina. He said that even if you don't want to give a variance because you're afraid it's going to set a precedent, it doesn't. I don't know if I actually believe that, but that's what he said. So, for that, you take that with a grain of salt. The only thing that sticks me a little bit is that every other approved lot in town has a 50-foot setback, and this one has an 80, and I'm curious as to how that came about, whether it was just some arbitrary number or how it actually got there. But any other lot in town.
But these lots are like 21 feet apart.
Yeah,
So,
because you
But
don't,
that's we're talking about a rear setback, not a side
just
setback.
as you see right over here by Shady Lake, this is the trade-off for doing away with your front yard and your side yard buffers.
Right, referred to as the ring of beauty, or if you will. Either way, this is an ARH community,
I understand.
and those rules are made there, and we as a board need to uphold those rules as it fit, unless there's a hardship. I particularly don't see that hardship in this case, but that's for not us. That's the zoning board to decide on those initial rules. We have to uphold them.
As they said, with respect to your latter point, with respect to your former point, I understand that one lot, one vote, no precedent set. On the other hand, if I said yes to this one, I'd feel obliged.
Yeah.
It's like, how can I say no to 6 other fellow
Yes,
citizens?
as the father of 5 children,
Oh, no,
I have that in mind.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion fails. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
We'd look at those proposed
Yeah,
regs.
well,
though.
I've been following that, as a matter of fact.
I was sort of
and
surp-
I haven't heard anything about
I was sort of
setbacks.
surprised because I looked up these regulations when I saw the chapter and verse citation on here.
Yeah.
And I was like 3 or 4 pages of ARH, regulations, and I looked at the new ones, and I'm not even sure it's like half a page. So,
Thank you.
Good night. Okay, we're going to move on to the other, which is the application for number 19005 for the cease and desist order. I don't want to disappoint anybody here tonight, but there will be no open discussion because we just received this and we're in no position to act on it. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to read it into the public record, and then we're going to get a motion to accept the appeal and set a date for a public hearing where then you can come and speak to your heart's delight. So that's the only thing that's going to happen tonight. Okay?
Would that be a public hearing with you guys, or just?
Yes, that'll be if the motion carries, it'll be at our next public meeting, which will be September 10th.
Does the bill state, are you gonna read it out loud, like what, the reason why?
We're only going to read what the notice
That
is.
might be-
Yeah.
that might answer the
So
question. Maybe.
it's just an appeal to the cease and desist. So, and there is going to be another application coming because I guess it involves 2 properties. So that's going to be coming up in the September meeting as well. But we'll just roll that all into one. So
So there'll be a public hearing for both of them?
both of them on the same night. Yeah, we don't. Yes. So
But you're only gonna hear the one tonight?
we're not going. The only thing we're going to do is accept that it's here and set the date
so
for the public
equivalent of
hearing.
rubber stamp,
Yeah,
received.
we haven't had a chance. We have a lot of homework ahead of us, so
We can help you with
Okay, so I would ask Mr. Secretary to please read the notification into the public record.
Oh, okay, the notification being what's on the agenda?
Yep.
Okay, so, we are here to receive an application and schedule a public hearing for number 19 tax 005, Amy L. Eastman, 42 Hallie Lane, Somers, Connecticut, appealing cease and desist order issued by Jennifer Roy, zoning enforcement officer.
Thank you, sir. May I get a motion to receive the application and set a public hearing date for our regular meeting on September 10th at 7 p.m.?
So move.
I second.
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 Doug. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. So we're done with that.
Can I ask one question?
It's
No.
an administrative question.
Okay.
That's all, yeah. So, out of curiosity, you have two here, because one's for 42 and one is for 40.
We don't have two here yet.
Right, and my question is, isn't there a time frame on when that could be submitted? And wasn't that time frame?
There are some time frames, but they can be, adjusted and amended. I don't think that was my first question, because I was just gonna push this off tonight.
Okay, we have one.
Yeah, because I
And that
wanted to do them
timeframe,
both
the other
together,
one
but
we don't have yet, so-
we can remedy that, so apparently that's not an issue.
So that can be manipulated.
Mm-hmm. Yep,
There's
extensions.
really no definitive time frame.
There are definitive time frames, but
Clock
there's
starts ticking
extensions
with
and,
the reception of the
yeah,
application.
so it's a 65-day, and I believe.
And then we have to schedule a hearing within so many days, and then there's
Yeah.
so many days after the closing of the hearing by which we must decide.
So you have 30 days, once they have 30 days,
Argumentatively, I don't know the exact numbers.
that's what zoning regulations say. And if it indicates
Okay.
30 days from the time they were handed the cease and desist until the time it was presented before you folks, so.
Yes, but
30
we
day
can,
timeframe is
if
that
they
last.
agree to extend that, then
Okay. So-
They being the town. Or they
the
being
applicant,
the applicant.
yes. Okay. Any other?
So, thank you.
All right, well, unfinished business, we have none. Correspondence, we have none. Minutes approval. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes
All motion to
from
approve.
the March
Second.
12th meeting? Wow. So we got Doug for
Second.
Doug for the second. Any changes, revisions, additions?
Didn't see any.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None?
I'll abstain because I wasn't at the meeting.
One abstention, Ralph. Do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Ralph, second?
Second.
Doug, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. We are adjourned at 7:32. That's a wrap.